Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about rotations. Okay, so we need to understand the rules of rotations and be able to create rotations. Okay, so down here in this table, these are our rules for rotations. So please write these down. You're going to need these to do the assignment. So when we do rotations, rotations are usually counterclockwise. Okay, so if a direction is not given, we're going to assume that our rotation is counterclockwise. Okay, so just assume that in this case. If it's going to go clockwise, your problem is going to say rotate this clockwise. Okay, so let's look at these rotations here. So starting with a 0 degree rotation or a 360 degree rotation. So imagine that I have a coordinate grid here, okay, and I want to rotate something 0 degrees. That means it does not change. I'm not moving it if I move it 0 degrees. So it's going to stay the same. Also, if I were to rotate something 360 degrees, so if I start here, 360 degrees means I am going all the way around this thing. Okay, so that takes me all the way back to the original point. Okay, so that means that I'm back at the same point, so it's not changing. My coordinate is x, y. The next one, if I have a 90 degree rotation, okay, so it means I'm taking this point right here and I'm rotating it there. That would be a 90 degree rotation. The rule for doing that is we're going to swap our x and y and we're going to make the y negative. Okay, so that is our rule for that one. If I wanted to do a 180 degree rotation, so that would mean that I'm starting here and I'm going halfway around a circle. Okay, my rule here is x and y are going to stay in the same place, but we're going to change its signs. Okay, and then the last one, if I had a 270 degree rotation, that would look like this. Okay, we're going to swap x and y and we are going to make the x negative. Okay, so those are the rules for our rotation. So you need to memorize these and know what to do for each. Okay, so that was a lot of rules. Just to recap, if we have 0, 360, everything stays the same. It's taking us back to the original place. 180, all you do is change both signs. Okay, keep x and y the same, just change them to the opposite sign. 90 or 270, we're going to reverse the order and use coordinate plane to help determine the signs. Okay, so we'll see what that means when we look at some examples here. Okay, so just remember 0, 360, or 180, we're staying in the same order. 90 or 270, we're going to swap the order. Okay, so now if I wanted to rotate something 90 degrees clockwise, so that would just mean, let me just plot this point. It's a lot easier if you guys just draw a picture. Okay, so I have this point right here at 2, 4. Okay, and 90 degrees clockwise, it means I'm going to move one quadrant to the right. So I'm going to move to this quadrant. Okay, so if I move to that quadrant, I need to swap x and y. Okay, and then another thing to remember, if I am in this quadrant, my signs should be positive, negative. Okay, if I'm over here, it should be negative, negative. If I'm over here, it should be negative, positive. And then we know that this one is positive, positive. Okay, so now I know that my numbers are going to swap. So I'm going to have 4, 2, okay? But the second number must be negative if I am in that quadrant. So that's my answer there, okay? The next one, 180 degrees counterclockwise. So if I start at negative 3, 6, which is going to be up here somewhere, okay? And if I go 180 degrees counterclockwise, that means that I am moving 2 quadrants, okay? So I know that my signs should be positive, negative, and if we're going 180 degrees, that means that we keep the same order. Okay, so my numbers are going to be 3 and 6, okay? And I know that the first one should be positive, the second one should be negative because I am in quadrant 4 here, okay? Next one, rotate 270 degrees clockwise. So if I start at -7, -3, that means I'm down here somewhere, 270 degrees clockwise. That's going to be 3 quadrants. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's going to take me there again to that same quadrant we've been in. So 270 degrees is going to swap order. So that means that 3 goes first, 7 goes second. I know that the second number needs to be negative again. Okay. The next one, 90 degrees counterclockwise. So if I start down here, okay, counterclockwise will take me this way. Okay. So my order is going to change because it's 90 degrees. So swap X and Y, okay? So I'm gonna have 4 first, 5 second, and I am in the positive quadrant, so that's it. Okay, and then the last one, 360 degrees counterclockwise. 360 degrees will always stay the same, so there's our answer, we're done there. So in this example, we want to rotate the figure 180 degrees around the origin. Okay, so we're going to assume that this is counterclockwise, and since we're going 180 degrees, that means that we are going to move 2 quadrants. Okay, so that means that U will move over into this quadrant over here. So U is going to go there. V, if it moves 2 quadrants, V will also go in this quadrant. But L is actually going to be in this quadrant. Okay, so let's write down the coordinates of each of our vertices that we have here. So L is -1, -3. Okay. U is 2, 0, and then V is 3, -2. Okay, so if we are going to rotate 180 degrees, all we have to do is change both signs. So that means that L prime is going to be at 1, 3. U prime is going to be -2. 0 is still just 0. And then V prime is going to be -3, +2. Okay, so let's plot those. So L prime -1, or 1, 3. Okay, so 1, 3. So that's L prime. U prime -2, 0. V prime -3, +2. Okay, so that fits. Everything is in the correct quadrant. And now just connect our points. And we see that this thing has been rotated 180 degrees. Okay, this one, it says rotate 90 degrees clockwise around the origin. So that means that we are going to move one quadrant in this direction because that's clockwise. Okay, so again, I am going to write down each of my coordinates here. So I've got, let me start with I, and that is originally what, -3, +3. Okay, N is at -2, +3. W is 2, 1, and D is -1, -1. Okay, so if I move each of these things clockwise 90 degrees, okay, so that means that I and N are going to go in this quadrant. All right, W will move to this quadrant, and D is actually going to move to this quadrant. Everything moves one quadrant, okay? And to rotate 90 degrees, we're going to swap X and Y. Since both of these are 3's, it really doesn't matter. Okay, and since I is in this quadrant, that means that we're both going to be positive. So 3, 3 is the point. Okay, N, if I swap X and Y, I get 3, 2. W, I'm going to have 1, 2. Okay, this quadrant is actually positive, negative. So that means that my 2 is going to be negative. And then D, I'm going to have a 1 and a 1. And this quadrant is actually negative, positive. So it's going to be -1, +1. Okay, so now let's plot those. Let me choose a different color here. And I didn't label these, I prime, N prime, W prime, and D prime. So I prime is 3, 3, so 3, 3. Okay, N prime is here. W prime is going to be here. And D prime will be here. And then just connect your dots. So there is our 90-degree rotation. Okay, so this one we want to write a rule for the rotation. And really, we just figure out how many quadrants are we moving. And we can see that each of these points are just moving one quadrant. Okay, so since we're just moving one quadrant, that's going to be a 90-degree rotation. Okay, and I can just say 90-degree rotation. I don't have to say counterclockwise. I'm going to write that anyway. So I have a 90-degree counterclockwise rotation. I could also call this a 270-degree clockwise rotation. That would actually be the exact same thing. Okay, one last example. On this one, I can see that everything is moving 2 quadrants. Okay, so each quadrant that you move is 90 degrees. So this will be a 180-degree rotation. Okay, doesn't matter which way we go. If we go clockwise or counterclockwise, I'm going to be in the exact same place. So all we have there is a 180-degree rotation. Okay, so please go to Canvas, check out the assignment for today. Make sure you're confident with these rotation rules and comfortable doing rotations. Okay, please let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.